Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay, we've got some juicy news coming out. We've got a confirmed drop of the event dungeon. So it's going to be our next chance to get Pinpoint gear and other stuff. And that's what's quite cool here. So they're actually, I guess, broadening what the event dungeon can do. We've got some new enemies and some new heroes coming into the game, as we were kind of like speculating about yesterday. So let's jump in and share everything I know right now. And they're kind of like drip feeding this a bit. We don't have all the information, but we've got a decent chunk of information today. So the first thing is Pinpoint is definitely going to be up for grabs. And the event dungeon is going to kick off on the 8th of January alongside this kind of like new rollout, which feels very much like it's going to be Alice in Wonderland. I spoke about it yesterday with a number of different like characters coming into the game, a number of different champs. So Pinpoint, it's basically the best set in the game for PvP when it comes to your debuffer champions, right? Because it allows you to just ignore polymorph. And especially if you're able to get like a multiple stacks of intercept up. So really, really strong for your debuffers. And yeah, kind of crazy, honestly. So what's cool about this is even if you get to 4 pieces, you've got that 1 stack of intercept, and it's just going to make a big difference for anyone who's trying to rip buffs off of enemies or land debuffs on enemies, especially against polymorph. So yeah, it's pretty much the only place you can get it, which means that it's worth farming this dungeon a decent amount. And yeah, really, really good set. So second part of the announcement here is that for the event dungeon, there's going to be relics added to the game. So as part of the campaign, 2 exclusive themed relics, epic and legendary rarity, will be introduced to the game. Both relics will belong to the event relic group. Now, currently in game, I guess they're going to add this in. I don't think this is a thing. So you've got standard relic group or chimera group, but there's no event group right now. So what I don't know is, and I don't think it tells me actually, I don't know if these drop as relics or if they drop as material. It kind of sounds like they drop as relics to me, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong, but it might be they literally just drop relics. So both relics will belong to the event relic group. During the campaign, players will be able to obtain unique craft materials. Here you go. Craft materials for these relics in some of the tournaments and events. So it doesn't say that you'll get the materials from the actual relic dungeon, or sorry, the event dungeon. It looks like we're going to be having events and stuff around the outside of it where you can get the materials. That's a shame. It would have been cool, I think, if they just dropped or had a chance, like small chance to just drop. All players can take part in the event dungeon to get epic relics from milestones. Okay. Oh, so maybe they're a full item as a reward as well. Could be from milestones. Epic relic. Could be. So I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this one here, I'm guessing is the new one. So we're getting damage modifiers here. Wearer receives 5% less damage from enemies whose attack is lower than the wearer's. Also inflicts 5% more damage to enemies whose max HP is lower than the wearer's. So if you've got someone who has got high attack and HP, I don't know, like a Rotus, for example, then they're getting double bubble rewards from this particular relic. And the modifier goes up. So it's actually going to be more like 10 and 10. Interesting. Okay. Third part of the announcement then. This is the enemy boss. We don't know who it is. I did speculate yesterday that it could be, what was it, like Jibberwocky or something like that? Alice in Wonderland. Let me just check again. Characters. Who was the enemy dragon type thing? The Jabberwock. It could be a Jabberwock, maybe. Or it could just be like the Mad Hatter, the Queen of Hearts. You know, although the abilities are not screaming like the Mad Hatter, I would have thought would have, use his timepiece. I would have thought it'd be more turn meter. Although saying that, there's a lot of turn meter going on. Turn meter. Maybe it is. Maybe it is the Mad Hatter. So it says here, first skill of the boss places drop defense for 2 turns on an A1 on an AoE. Doesn't tell us the chance for this to land, but also fills turn meter of all allies by 5% on an A1. It's pretty mad. A2 then removes all buffs from all enemies, then puts Death Brand on for 2 turns, new debuff, and places True Fear on all enemies for a turn. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each buff removed. So you could get, a decent 20 odd, 30 odd % turn meter just from doing this skill, as well as death branding you. What's cool here, or different here, is this boss feels like a support boss. You know, so it's like buff removal, setting up the team to do nasty stuff. I'll cover this in a sec. The third skill is an ally attack. So it's like a offensive support, I guess, which is setting up his allies to do damage. If you remember how the event dungeon works, you know, it's kind of like basically just setting up he's going to have like 4 allies with him. So this feels like setting up the allies to do the work rather than necessarily doing all the work themselves. This skill here doesn't actually hit, if you see. So it removes buffs, places the debuff, places true fear, no damage. So it's relying on his team to do the damage by the looks of it. Skill 3, teams up with allies. This is the ally attack. See, all allies, which is nice to see as well. Or nice to see if he's on our team, but horrible to see if we're up against someone. Before attacking, does an increased attack buff for allies for 2 turns. Decreases the cooldown of this skill by skill 2, his A2, by 2 if someone is killed. We don't know any cooldowns on this stuff yet. We don't know any more info. Passive here grants this champion an extra turn for every 10 buffs placed on the enemy team. So cuts in if there's a bunch of buffs. And then, by the way, I'm going to remove all those buffs and death brand you. Pretty mad. And if it's 10 buffs, well, you're going to get 50% turn meter as well. So something like Live Arena, when this becomes a champ, kind of nutty, honestly. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, well, only one will do it. And then death brand here. So champions under death brand will receive block revive when killed. It's maybe the strongest debuff in the game. Like, it's disgusting. I'm going to remove all your buffs, put death brand on you, and true fear you. And then, by the way, if any of my team kill you, you are staying dead. That is a disgusting debuff, honestly. Really, really powerful. Okay, then. And then we got something about the fusion here, but not a lot. So one of the 5 themed legendary champions. So we know there's going to be 5 new champs coming in. My guess is straight out the bat are Mad Hatter, Alice, Queen of Hearts. Oh, I think Tweedledee, Tweedledum as a mythical. I'm going for it. Who's the 4th one? The White Rabbit. 5th one, sorry. White Rabbit. That's what I'm going for. So out of them all, one of them is going to be a fusion, which will launch on the 8th. It's going to be a Knights Rev legendary support Force Affinity. So of those, who's likely to be a support champ? I think it's going to be Alice. I think Alice is going to be the fusion. Knight Revs, does that fit? Not sure, really. Not sure. Top secret. It's going to be a versatile PvE support champion specializing in spreading debuffs, empowering allies with healing, buff extension, and turn meter boosting. The toolkit is designed to keep allies alive in the fight whilst disrupting enemy strategy. That's all we got. So they're dropping the leaks. I think it sounds quite cool. I like the idea of the event dungeon coming back. I think the boss sounds nasty and well crafted. And this is going to be obviously a cool champion once we get to collect them as well. And yeah, and adding relics just makes sense. So what's not to like? There you go, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.